Hi everyone, it's Raquel here from scrapcosy. I'm going to show you how to create that card. These are the supplies that I'm going to be using. This is a cut from Silhouette Cameo. This is the base and some papers that I will use. These are the sample of how these alcohol markers paint. I've selected these colors because they match very well with the laces that you can see on top. So the idea of the card is painting some lines with the pens and then sticking the laces on top. So what I do now is cutting the laces a little bit wider than the actual width of the card. And in the meantime, I'll lead you with some music. Here what I'm doing is playing a little bit with the design. Originally I was planning to do something a bit uneven, but then I decided to go for something symmetric. And this is the focal point that I will be using, that's the size. And what I will be doing now is with a pencil, I will mark what is the width of every lace, so I can use that as a guide. Now that this is done, I will grab every pen and do little dots, so then I know which color I need to paint on each. And now that this is done, I will use the ruler to make stripes. Because this is the first time that I'm doing it, I'm trying it first there, and well, the technique works, so I'll use the ruler to make the stripes. These stripes are going to be thinner than the actual lace, so then the lace covers it completely. Now that the lines are all painted, what we need to do is removing the little pencil dots, just in case, and then stick all the laces in place. So we stick in the front and then we stick them in the back, so they are nice and tidy. Depending on the lace, it may be difficult for the adhesive to remain in place, as you will see with this purple one, but I have a solution for you, which will be using a cell tape. If you don't have this type of adhesive, which is the roller glue, you can always use double-sided tape. This ruler for me doesn't work very well. Sometimes you get them and they work very nicely, but this one is horrible. And here I'm applying this solution that I was talking about with the cell tape. You can put anything in the back. It's not going to be seen. Up until now, this is a very simple card, and you don't need many material, just laces and pens, some glue, so then it's pretty easy to kind of use it as any background. Here I'm selecting the happy birthday that I cut with the cameo. I actually did it myself. I painted it in a notepad with a black pen, and then I scan it, edit it with the Silhouette Cameo software, and then I actually cut it with the Silhouette. And now, because the two pieces are cream color, I'm going to change the color on one of them, and it's going to be the base. If you don't have any of these tools, you can actually use any other focal point that you create on a different manner. but here I'm using Versamark ink to ink that up, and then apply those gold embossing powders, because what I'm going to do is heat embossing in gold. So what I'm doing is now throwing those powders, which is the embossing powder in gold, on top of that, so then these powders get sticked to where the Versamark ink was. I'm doing this in this scrap of paper, so then I can recover the powders and put them back on the pot. And now what I'm doing is heating the heating tool, and then with some tweezers I'm just holding it in place, and what I'm doing now is melting those powders, so then they become shiny, you see? Now what I'm doing is covering back again those little spots that from the tweezers they were removed, and heating embossing everything else. Well, here my camera went off, so you missed a bit steps, but I'll try to explain. So basically what I did is getting that gold part and stick it to the laces with foam adhesive. Then for the letters I used Tacky glue and I glued them on top. And then all this is sticked into another piece of cardstock, which I only embossed the borders in gold. Now I'm going to make the card base. So you see that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'll do exactly that card base. And then I could use like a roller cut or something, but I'm using here the squirrel instead. So what I'm doing is marking the lines on where I want to cut, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then 11. So I will just cut with the scissors where the marks are, not the one in the middle, because that's the folding line. And now that I have it cut, what I'm going to do is flatten those edges and mark again that line, then fold it and score it properly with the bone folder. And this is how it opens. Now it's time for assemble the card. And for that we will use the adhesive, the same one that we were using before. This type of adhesives can work very well or can be a complete nightmare, like this one. So we just make sure that we are putting all the edges properly. And you could finish here. But now what I'm going to do is the inside, so I cut a piece exactly the same size. And what I'm going to do is put it in the inside. What I'll do with the inside is embossing the edges. So again, I'm getting the Versamark ink and embossing only that part. Here I'm inking the 4 edges, but actually I will only emboss 3 of them. This is because originally I wanted to do like kind of a rectangle in the middle, but I decided that finally I will align the actual border on the top. You'll see what I mean. So now you put the embossing powder on top, and you see that it gets stick whatever the Versamark ink was. And I'll grab the embossing tool and just heat emboss it. I really love how it changes color and it becomes shiny. If you see that the paper carves a little bit while you're embossing, then you can apply the heat on the back of the card. And now what I'll be doing is getting that piece of paper and then some pattern scissors and cut 3 edges out of 4. If you see, I'm not cutting completely until the end with the scissor, because these scissors normally they don't cut completely well, and then you can see that the edge is not perfectly clear if you use it until the end. So you just cut little by little. And now what I do is putting the edge well aligned with the top and just stick it. So once this is finished, the card is ready. Well, I hope you like it, and I'm going to show you some pictures from the actual card. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!